Walker Buehler's return should have us thinking about a Dodgers World Series. Anthony Davis says he wants the Lakers roster to remain intact, and CBS takes a stab at where USC and UCLA are in Big Ten football. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. So it is May 8th, 2024. Welcome back to the Sanctum Sanctorum of LA Sports. We have added yet another new subscriber to the Angeleno Familia yesterday. Thank you so much. I appreciate every last one of you as we try to build something for LA. And if you like being in the know about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. You know this. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Now, before we go through the news and notes, I'll look at the scoreboard. Max Muncy hits a grand slam in the first inning, and everybody spent the rest of the night at Chavez Ravine talking about Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Dodgers 8, Miami 2. Dodgers continue to start to boat race the NL West, leaving everybody behind, leaving Scum Francisco, Slime Diego. Bye-bye, we're off on a boat. Meanwhile, today, Miami's at the Dodgers at noon. Gavin Stone is 2-1 with a 4.06 ERA. Ryan Weathers, 2-3 with a 4.54 ERA. And LAFC is playing tonight at Las Vegas at 7:30. It's the U.S. Open Cup, the round of 32. The winner faces the winner of Orange County SC versus Loudoun. It's an interesting match in the sense that, if you recall, LAFC did not win a trophy last year. They had 3 tries at it where they reached the finals, got snubbed. And in addition to that, the teams had a relationship just a couple of years ago, as if Las Vegas was the Black and Gold's minor league team. Steve Cherundolo was the Lights manager. So it's a quirky little reunion with at least something on the line for LAFC. But let's get to the news. Because we had so many other things to talk about yesterday, we were chock full of news. I don't think we spent nearly enough time on what Walker Buehler's return means to the Dodgers. We know damn well what it means, to be frank, right? Tyler Glasnow has been lights out, but he's still a little brittle. Yoshinobu Yamamoto has been solid. And then what? Right? If Walker Buehler is anything near what he was prior to his second Tommy John surgery, if Buehler can let it rip without pain consistently, the Dodgers should be the favorites to get to the World Series and likely win it. Because you don't know what you're going to get from Clayton Kershaw or Dustin May when they come back from their injuries. True? So people should be ecstatic after Monday's game that Buehler reported no pain whatsoever as he reflected on his first appearance in a major league game in almost 2 years. When he noticed that his first pitch clocked in at 96 miles an hour, quote, "You kind of get that I belong here again thing. It was cool," unquote. He said he would have been satisfied with 94. And a little bit later, he hit 98 on the gun. Matter of fact, 13 of his 77 pitches hit at 96 or faster. Now, as we spoke yesterday, the other numbers, hits, earned runs, etc. A mixed bag. We got to be real about that. Miami has a lousy team, but the lack of pain is what's important. Control? That can come back without having to be cut open again by a knife, right? By a surgeon. The other remarkable thing is that Buehler has come back a different man. Buehler, who was known to be wound up pretty tight, for him to actually be happy is something. Quote, "Having that amount of time off, some different things in my family, I'm a lot happier just to be playing than I used to be. It might even be worse now because I'm so happy and so mad at the same time. I used to just be mad all the time. Hopefully I get back to that. Just being mad all the time," unquote. Which is a little silly, but so be it. If you are wondering about Buehler's health, if you were saying, wait a minute, he's just talking about how great he feels and he probably feels like crap, he just doesn't want to admit it. Surgeon Neil Atrache told the LA Times, quote, "What he showed today is that he has complete function performance back in his elbow," unquote. El Atrache sounded a little bit like a pitching coach in describing the signs that told him Buehler was being truthful about his health. Quote, "The shape of some of his breaking balls were devastating, dropping north to south. That shows that the tendon is healthy. You need a healthy tendon to spin it like that," unquote. Now, Buehler's second start, however, is going to be a step up in competition. That'll be Sunday over in San Diego. He gets lit up in San Diego. It's probably not the end of the world. It's just part of the process of regaining your control. As the players say, James Outman is on the interstate, I-69. Trust me, players' dirty jokes sound way better than that. It means Outman is hitting just 169, guys. Monday, he was dropped to 9th in the batting order. It's gotten to the point to where Dave Roberts suggested to the LA Daily News that demoting him to AAA might give him a chance to straighten things out. Quote, "James is really scuffling. Uncertainty with his mechanics, uncertainty with his approach, and when you're in that spot, it's tough to hit," unquote. This, by the way, is the continuing impact of what Andy Pages has done since he's been called up from the minor leagues. And also because of the fact that the return of outfielder Jason Hayward could mean Outman's demotion. Hayward is close to going on a rehab assignment in the minors. He hasn't also played since March 30th with a lower back strain. Christian Wood has exercised his option for next season for the Lakers. He'll be coming back with a contract of about $3 million. He was supposed to be this ideal supplement for Anthony Davis. You know, even there was an idea bandied about before the season. Maybe you move Davis from center, which he doesn't like playing, to power forward, and then give Wood a crack at being in the 5. But Wood was injured. He only wound up playing 17 minutes per game. I would say this, it is possible that his $3 million contract could be used to match up salaries in a trade this summer. Meanwhile, Davis also told the Scribes that he wants the roster to remain pretty much intact. Quote, "It's all about continuity. And like I said, a lot of our guys were out of the lineup. I think we found something toward the end of the season with that lineup. And obviously, there's some guys in the locker room who have some decisions to make. But I think the way you continue to compete for championships is kind of keeping the core. I learned that from just being in New Orleans. I don't even know how many teammates I had. And it's tough," unquote. I don't think that you should take the following too seriously. But CBS Sports has power rankings for the Big Ten Conference. And if you want to have a clue as to the differences between conferences, this is it. Big Ten gets their own power rankings. Pac-10, hell no. Big Ten, millions to be made in TV. Pac-10, TV? Pfft. Why don't you go buy a subscription to Apple or something? Right? Big differences between the conferences. But to be clear, the writer half-assed the power rankings. It's too early to come out with real power rankings, and he knows it. So he had to come up with some sort of clickbait. He did assume that the Big Ten is a top-heavy conference, which it is. There's a lot of schools in the Big Ten. The reason that USC and UCLA is such big news to them is that maybe eventually either Oregon or USC can crack that top-heavy part of the conference. The Big Ten prior to this year has either been Michigan or Ohio State, damn near every single year. With every so often, maybe Penn State would surprise people, something like that. Ain't nobody threatened by Iowa or Nebraska, guys. So the Scribe, he adds Oregon, and then after looking at that top 3 or 4, voila, let's put the Trojans number 5. And his comments about the Trojans are the sort of bland crap that we've been talking about since January. Who replaces Caleb Williams? Will the defense get better? Of course the defense is going to get better. Miller Moss to Caleb Williams? Okay. Maybe an ish. But yeah, he just threw USC in there without really thinking a whole hell of a lot about it. Are they the 5th best team in the Big Ten? You tell me. I'm going to tell you this is clickbait. Then way down at 16th, he drops UCLA. Now, I will say this. The comments that he had about the Bruins are somewhat fair. He said the Bruins have way too many questions on their roster to where you can trust them to put them significantly higher. But I wouldn't say that they're only better than Purdue or Indiana. 16th seems a little low. Yesterday, the scribes pored over the so-called NFL strength of schedule, and then they decreed that the Chargers have the easiest schedule in the AFC. Okay, here's why you shouldn't buy that crap at all. It doesn't take into account what teams did in the offseason. It never does. It's strength of schedule based on last year. Rosters change. Coaches change, right? And I'm just speculating. But what if the Raiders drafting Georgia tight end Brock Bowers is a surprisingly genius move? What if they go double tight end the way the New England Patriots did with Rob Gronkowski and double murderer Aaron Hernandez, and all of a sudden the offense is just fire like it was with those two guys with Tom Brady? I'm not saying it's happening that way. I'm just asking. What if Bo Nix is finally the answer Denver needed at quarterback for years? Right? Now, don't get me wrong. I really like what the Bolts did in the offseason a lot. But if they go on the run, if they get back to the playoffs, that's going to be because of Jim Harbaugh and the roster. It's going to have nothing to do with strength of schedule, guys. Not a thing. A couple of weeks ago, we mentioned how the first 5 home games for the Sparks season would have to be played at the Long Beach Pyramid because of construction going on at Crypto.com Arena. That's not true. At least not true anymore. Now, I would presume this is due to the Lakers, Clippers, and Kings all getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs. And as a result, construction could begin on upgrading Crypto.com Arena a little quicker. As such, 3 Sparks games have now been moved back to Crypto.com. That would include, by the way, the May 24th game against the Indiana Fever, which drafted Iowa's Caitlin Clark first overall. The Pyramid only has seating for about 4,000 people. So I'm going to assume if you really want to see Clark play, you're obviously going to have a much better chance over at Crypto.com. The Pyramid game was obviously a sellout. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. How optimistic are you about the Dodgers now that Walker Buehler is back, even though he's still got some kinks to work out? What do you think about Anthony Davis saying you don't necessarily need a third superstar to compete for a title? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day here. Thanks for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kia and Corte El Queso production. Take care.